Today I want to talk about a question that comes up quite often. Why does someone irritate us, even though they're not doing anything obviously wrong? At first glance, this can feel confusing. The person may seem polite, friendly, even well-meaning, and yet something about their behavior creates a strong neutrony discomfort. The important thing to understand is that in many cases, this reaction is not just psychological, it can also be physiological. Sometimes, what we experience as irritation is actually our body responding to a violation of personal boundaries. People don't always recognize when they're crossing a line. In some cases, they genuinely don't realize it. In others, they may have a different understanding of what is appropriate, and occasionally, the behavior may even be intentional. But regardless of intent, when someone crosses our boundaries, the body often reacts automatically. Stress responses are triggered, and we feel tension, discomfort, or irritation. This is a natural part of how our self-protection system works. A simple example is physical space. If someone you're not close to stands too close, speaks directly into your ear, or touches your clothing without permission, it will almost certainly feel uncomfortable. Most people would experience irritation in that situation, and that reaction is completely normal. However, boundary violations are not always physical. They can also happen in more subtle, everyday ways. For example, imagine a situation within a family. A relative frequently visits and behaves in a friendly, helpful way. They bring food, ask how things are going, and seem supportive. But at the same time, they go through personal belongings, rearrange things without asking, or offer unsolicited opinions about private matters. Nothing about this behavior is openly hostile, but it crosses a line, and over time, it naturally leads to irritation. Or consider a workplace example. Someone has a coworker who is generally kind and easy to talk to. However, this coworker has habits that gradually become difficult to tolerate, using other people's desks without asking, leaving personal items behind, or casually interrupting personal space during conversations. Again, none of these actions seem serious on their own, but repeated over time, they create a sense of discomfort. There are many similar situations. Someone asks overly personal questions, uses your belongings without permission, invades your space, physically or emotionally, acts too familiar too quickly. In all of these cases, irritation is a natural response. So what should you do? First, it's important not to blame yourself for the feeling. This reaction is not a flaw. It's a signal. Second, take a moment to reflect on the situation. Ask yourself, what exactly is causing this discomfort? Is this person crossing a boundary? Do they understand what they're doing? Once you understand the situation more clearly, the next step is simple but important. Communicate. Calmly explain what makes you uncomfortable. You don't need to accuse or criticize. Just state your boundaries clearly and respectfully. The response you receive will tell you a lot. If the person understands and adjusts their behavior, the irritation will usually fade, and the relationship can improve. But if they dismiss your feelings, become defensive, or continue the same behavior, it may indicate that the boundary crossing is not accidental. The key takeaway is this: not all irritation comes from within us. Sometimes it's a natural response to something happening around us, and listening to that signal can help you better understand your relationships and protect your sense of comfort and balance.